Alright, I'm in the passenger seat of my own truck. That doesn't happen often.
It's very true.
Yeah. So my cousin and I, Jeremiah, we're going elk hunting. It is October 16th.
Yeah.
So elk season starts tomorrow, and we're just gonna go set up the camp and everything. It's gonna be dark by the time we get there, so it should be fun.
A little interesting.
4-mile hike in the dark, mountain lion country.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea to me.
Sounds like a good idea. Yeah. So that's what's going on. I'll keep you posted. So we camped out last night. We just set up a temporary camp and camped out by the trailhead because it was late and dark and all that stuff. And and then this guy brought whiskey. So this guy drank half the bottle. So this guy has a hangover and it sucks.
And this guy didn't bring his tent or his sleeping bag.
Yeah, I forgot my sleeping bag, so now I got to get extra resourceful. So we're gonna have to keep a fire going all night for sure. And yeah, that's what we did last night. Throw some matches off. So this, I can't really see. There we go. That's the gun we're using. We're using a Mosin Nagant with a really awesome stock. So it's not your typical Mosin with the strapped down barrel or anything. It's a floating barrel now and an external magazine, and it's pretty sweet. So that's what we're shooting with.
I love it.
And if we find some tracks, I'll get on this video again. We're here by a little pond here, and we just investigated the possibility of catching some fish in them, but they're little brook trout, so we're going to pass on it. But that's a good sign at the lake and whatnot. And we still don't see any tracks or any sign of elk at all.
Nothing.
Nothing. But we're still on campus, so we don't know if maybe they've been pressured out deeper in the mountains or not. So that's
we'll find them.
Yeah, we're going to get it. Whiffo.
Missed again.
Yeah.
Try that one more time. Fuck it.
Try stepping a little closer. Try stepping a little closer.
Well, I can hit the stump. I'm just not throwing the axe.
You have like a double chance of it sticking too.
No, I still can't.
There we go. See, knew it was gonna happen.
You gotta keep going until you get them both.
Yep.
Camera's watching.
I'll try the knife first. What the hell?
Thought we were supposed to be good at this.
I know. You got me all nervous.
Me?
Yeah, the camera. I'm talking to.
Oh. You're scaring him. He's shaking. Ooh, he's shaking, shaking. What happened to your thing? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I guess that counts. That counts. That counts.
That totally counts.
So that what I just showed you is a bunch of elk tracks. They are at least a day old. The last one that I settled the camera on has to be or at least a day old. It's got a couple twigs, a leaf inside the track, so it's a good indicator that it's not completely fresh. So I won't be tracking them per se, but I am looking at a little bit of antler scrapes and everything. We're in a good area. They definitely frequent this area recently, so I'm going to keep heading up this hill, see if I can get a vantage point, and see if I can't see anything. Alright, so we have some pretty fresh elk scat. It's been frozen over a little bit, so I'd say it was yesterday, along with those footprints that I found earlier. So I'm going to keep heading up here. But more and more recent sign, which is good. So we're cooking a fish.
Oh
with
yeah.
some tinfoil. So Jeremiah gets lots of points for, you know, having a fishing license and stuff. Because I don't, and that's a very bad redneck of me. I know.
Should be ashamed.
I should. We're up at the top of this hill. Our camp is somewhere over there. Yeah. And so we're going to glass for maybe 10 more minutes. But we haven't seen anything. But we did see the best, freshest tracks we've seen are down here. Probably right along this game trail right here. So we're going to go track along those tracks and see what we find. If it runs dry there in our trail, you know, if we lose the trail, we're going to head back that way where we saw some spots where they'd been bedding down and some good feeding spots for them. So that's the game plan right now. All right. So these are the spruce beetles, kind of like the pine beetle. Those are the larvae, but they only seem to attack the spruce trees.
These are the holes they used to go in. Yeah. Some of these bigger ones, like that, are woodpecker holes.
I'm trying to eat these.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
The woodpeckers are the best defense against this shit, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That one's got smashed. Use these motherfuckers as bait, dude.
Yeah. So I imagine you could eat these like most other bugs,
yeah,
but we'd rather use them as bait.
Look, there's a dead one. That is what the adult looks like. It's died inside the tree after it flew. It grew up in one tree, flew to another, laid eggs, and died.
So I mean, these holes are just all over, up and down.
Yeah, there's tons of them. That's what killed that tree.
This one's dead. This one's dying because you can see there's some of the green, but not much.
And they just kind of die. Sometimes they'll change colors a little bit. The needles will, but for the most part, they die. Look, there's a big fat son of a bitch right there. Come back here, shithead. Try not to stab myself in the hand here.
Yeah, be careful.
Oh yeah. Look at that. That's a handful of them. That's four live ones. Dead one. If only I knew how to fly fish. That was one inside the bark.
Just can be bait, man. Just throw like 4 of them on a hook.
Exactly. Something like that. I don't know if my hooks are small enough.
Oh yeah.
Bigger hooks.
They'd be bait for like a bird trap too.
Yeah.
If we cared to do that.
Tons of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean there's probably over thousands.
I remember spruce bark. You can eat the inner layer.
The cambium layer.
Yeah.
That's where these bugs like to go.
But they're eating it, you know.
Yes.
So
look, there's another one.
So spruces are good. Just
take their needles. We had some spruce in the fish last night.
Yeah,
look
that's
at all
true.
These, dude.
So spruce is like your saving grace if you're out here lost or something. Tea out of the needles. Eat these grubs.
Oh yeah, look at those, dude.
Bait for traps and
they're
stuff.
all alive still.
Wow.
Another one here.
Yep.
These are the trails they leave. This one here.
Do they dye it? They kind of got a green color right there, but it ain't as good as the pine beetles where they make that nice.
It might.
That everyone
you know, I haven't cut down enough. I haven't cut down enough spruce trees with the pine with the beetle in them to see, but it very well could. You know, ouch. My personal belief is that all the excrement the bugs leave, their shit, their piss, the pheromones from them going into the other tree. I believe that's what turns the tree colors.
Or at the very least, the combination of that and decomposition and everything.
Yeah, but I'm not a fucking scientist.
Yeah, you're not a biologist. But
I'm just a lumberjack who spends a lot of time in the woods. And I like it. Look at all them. Put those on a fucking fishing hook. Or you know what we could do? Get a bunch of them, put them in a bag. Like a fucking...
You know, you just smash them up and make like a little ball of muck.
But I need
power bait and throw it on a hook.
It ain't gonna stay together.
You don't think it would?
No, I think if I
throw some tree sap in it and make it stay together.
That's a good idea. If I take some of these and I put it in like, you can use nylon for catfish. But I'm willing to sacrifice a piece of my vest or some of my shirt or a sock, and you put them in a little ball, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just fucking...
Especially something breathable like that mesh. That's,
yeah, exactly,
because
dude.
the scent will get out and all that.
And then with the fabric, just like with catfishing, you can put your bait in a nylon and it'll stay on there real well.
Right.
It'll do the same thing with that. I can go from one cast with one bait to hundreds. Yeah, they're leaving a stain in it.
So that could end up being some rich person's freaking trim or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There you go, rich people.
Your excuse not to cut down any more trees. Rich people, cut your trees if you live in the forest. I'll come do it for you on the cheap. My name is Jeremiah Dusick, and I work for Summit.
Alright, I'm done with this video. So, we got these spruce beetle larvae. We can just call them spruce grubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just call them that. See, we make names for things that we don't know names for. You know?
It's science.
Yeah.
Anybody out there?
Spruceus grubitus.
Yep. Exactly.
Anyway, so we're trying the idea. I mentioned it in because he mentioned the idea of doing some sort of bait ball, and I mentioned use sap or something. So he's gonna try sap. Throw, smash these guys all together and make kind of like a power bait using that sap. Yeah, that's the sap. And I'm boiling water over here because I took it out of the river. And
he's thirsty.
I'm thirsty. So, got to boil it for a good 10 minutes or so.
It's about 2:35 right now. We're waiting for these elk
to wake up.
Get their asses up.
Yeah, we went by so many bedding areas. I'm thinking they are definitely there during the rut, especially the ones where they dug down into the dirt to cool down. Because it's hot during the rut, It's still September and stuff. So, at the very least, we'll come out here in the rut and get something next year. For sure, get an archery tag. But they're way thick. There's scat and sign right around our camp, but down there, on the other side of the river, there is a lot of sign. They are very heavily active over there. Alright, we'll chime back in and start smashing them up. Alright, so we got camp set up. We're right outside of where the Emmeline Lake, where you're allowed to camp. So, yeah, that's where we're at. I got my boots, my socks. I had to walk through some pretty mucky, swampy stuff. So, I'm letting it all dry before I go out there and really hit it. It's about 2 in the afternoon, 2:30 maybe, and here in about a couple hours or so, the elk's activity should be going up a little bit as it cools down, and the sun's going down. So hopefully all the stuff we saw on the way here, I didn't film it because it was all kind of just happened. We found all sorts of game trails. I can double back and go back where those game trails were and just walk the trails, maybe see if I can come across one. And we found where they bedded down. Found one spot where there was a couple, big flattened out tufts of grass and everything. So that's a good thing. That's a good sign that they're here. We've been seeing scat all over the place, tracks. We got a good chance tonight or tomorrow, maybe find something. And Jeremiah is over fishing right now, so maybe he'll bring back a little food. We brought food, but just basic sustenance, oatmeal and crab like that. So we do want to get food on the way. My blowgun is always able to get some squirrels and stuff, and I tried for a couple of them and missed, but you know, there's a lot of squirrels around. Can end up getting one of those guys tonight. One or two. So, you'll keep you posted. Alright, so we are done. We're on our way back. We're on Pingree Road, heading back home. And we didn't see anything. We thought we saw a lot of nice tracks and scat and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't actually see any elk at all.
Not even a deer.
Not even a deer. We hiked the entire Mummy Range, dude.
Yeah.
We went the entire thing and nothing. So, and then we stopped at a couple last ditch effort spots, and there's like 8 other hunters there, so they're not going to find anything either. So, all in all, though, it was still fun. We got to figure out what might be a cool way to make some bait.
Oh yeah.
You know,
great trip. It was a good trip.
It was a good trip. It was a lot of fun. A lot of pretty country, and we know for a fact that those beds that we found, where the elk had dug down into to get warm or get cold, were from the rut. And we'll be back next year with archery tags in the rut for sure. So I think we have a really good chance. So we know more about the land, we know more about the animal.
We know how much of a pain in the ass that hike is.
That's not happening with the way we packed our packs again. We're going to go a little lighter on the food, a little heavier on the sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And
well, there's bunker.
Is there an elk?
Yeah, back up, dude.
All right. Just want to shoot kind of a hindsight video about the elk hunt. Overall, we had a lot of fun. Now here it is, almost December. It's the end of November at this point. So it's been, you know, over a month since we were out there. And I'm about to edit all the other videos into one longer video. And so everyone will be able to get to kind of see it all in the same timeline. There's a lot I couldn't film. Part of it is because the battery went dead. And I didn't get to charge it until we got back to the truck the next day. So in retrospect, there's 2 things I've come to a conclusion about this, and both of those are things that I can use to pursue an elk or a deer next year. One is, if you're out there, before you get to the campsite, I'm really thinking it's just better to leave the orange off, because then everyone knows you're a hunter. We ran into one guy with 2 dogs, and he asked where we were hunting, told him elk and everything, and he seemed a little irked at the idea of hunting things and whatnot. And I didn't think anything of it. So we hiked through the CSU campus, and then when we got past the CSU campus, we figured we'd stay off the trail and just follow the creek through these meadows. And then if we see something, then, you know, maybe we'll get lucky. Or maybe we can just see some sign. And we saw plenty of sign. A lot of tracks, a lot of scat, a lot of beds. I didn't think anything of it at the time, because I saw just person tracks and canine tracks, and just kind of wasn't thinking that people were out there messing with us like that. But I saw human tracks with canine tracks following them. So I have every reason to believe that that guy probably walked right through that meadow with his dogs and scared away the elk so we wouldn't get him. So in retrospect, I think it's better just until you're getting to your campsite, you're not a hunter. And then if anyone asks, you don't tell them the truth about what you're doing, really, unless it's a game warden, you know, because there's always going to be those anti-hunters out there who say, well, tell them where we're not going, tell them what I'm not going after. And that could help. Now, most of the trip, I just saw a bunch of scat and a bunch of tracks, and they looked pretty fresh, but, you know, still could have been a day or two. Didn't see anything for sure that there was elk in the area right then, until the phone had died, and we started tracking a different area, but then circled around back to the creek, and then we saw tracks. Fresh tracks went right over the trail that we had just previously been at, so we know they're less than an hour old. So this tells me that we were doing something else wrong. And I think that the fact that I was even filming it, I was taking the time to stop and pull my camera out and talk, and I think that I should have been just focusing on the hunt and being quiet. Unfortunately, that means you wouldn't have been able to see the bit of footage you did get to see. So self-documenting is a challenge for this sort of activity, for sure, because you talk and they can hear it. And I was trying to be quiet, or I was talking in like I felt like I had a lay of the land that they weren't in the immediate area, and I was going to have to do plenty of hiking to begin with. And I might have been wrong. They might have been right there. Overall, though, the whole trip was a success from an outdoorsman standpoint. There's a lot of things I could have done. That a lot of hunters do, but I didn't. That's not the kind of outdoorsman I am. I like to do things much more traditionally. So I don't have camo clothing. I don't go out and spend a bunch of money on calls, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not out there with the drone and stuff. I'm going out there to go back in time. That's what I do. And so even though I didn't get an elk, I was out there doing outdoorsmanship the way I want to do it. And I got to, me and my cousin both got to find a new way to get bait. So we learned a little something and saw something from a different perspective. And then we just got to enjoy the outdoors. You know, we also didn't get to film this, but we encountered grouse, we encountered 3-point deer, a lot of those. So from a survival standpoint, there was plenty of game. And I certainly could have gotten it if I wanted to abide by the laws. For example, I could have used my blowgun on the sage grouse or thrown a rock or stick at it. Don't want to break the laws, though. So in retrospect, it was a very enjoyable trip. Learned a little bit. Anytime you go out in the woods and you learn a little bit, that's good. Another thing is I'm probably not going to drink half a bottle of whiskey. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that was a culprit. There was a point in time where we were above the tree line. We made a plan to go over the Mummy Mountains. I went up a few feet and I got dizzy, cold sweats. I just was, part of that's the altitude. The other part of it, I think, definitely all that whiskey. So it was a good trip. Thank you, Jeremiah, for coming out there with me. I got to, you know, it's the first time in a while I've been able to go out there with the way work is, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.